All right, y'all. We got a lot to talk about today in terms of upcoming horror movies. So you may as well just strap in and get a snack now. Hi. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you've never been here before. Today I wanted to sit down and kind of just do an update of upcoming horror movies that we're going to be seeing coming out later this year. I kind of wanted to just talk about the premise, the directors, what we can basically expect from these movies, and the reviews thus far. So the first part of this is going to be movies that we know the for sure date that this movie is coming out, and then the second half is going to be movies that have yet to be announced a specific initial release but have been teased to come out sometime in 2022. I figured this would be good since we're halfway over with the year already. So we may as well just see what else do we have to look forward to for the rest of the year. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. Okay, so I'm going to be going in chronological order in terms of when these are expected to come out, leading up from now until December. And like I said, the second half have yet to be announced a specific date, so those are going to be at the end because we don't know when it'll come out or if it'll even come out this year. So the first one is going to be The Black Phone. Now this is set to come out June 24th, but I've seen tickets being released or tickets for showings on the 15th of June, even though in every commercial and every trailer it says June 24th. So I don't know what that's all about. I'm not the most well-versed in terms of release dates and that mathematics and logistics. This is directed by Scott Derrickson. He is known for Sinister, Doctor Strange, and The Exorcism of Emily Rose. This is starring Ethan Hawke, which I'm sure he'll probably do a good job of it, but the trailers so far have been annoying as hell. I get these freaking commercials for this mother-freaking movie every 2 seconds, it seems like, and I just can't get Ethan Hawke's laugh out of my head. It is engraved in my soul, it seems like. So part of me is like, I don't know if I want to see this just because I'm gonna get more of that laughter, more of Ethan Hawke's laughter. This is about 13-year-old Finney Shaw, and he is kidnapped by a sadistic killer and trapped in a soundproof room. All of a sudden, a disconnected phone starts to ring, and he begins to discover he can hear the voices of the killer's past victims, who are determined to save him. This is produced by Blumhouse, so I'm not too sure what to expect. It's either hit or miss with Blumhouse. This is also based off of Joe Hill's novel of the same name. Joe Hill, who is the son of Stephen King. Now, he kind of wanted to go a different direction and just go by his first and middle name because he doesn't want to just be famous because he's Stephen King's son, even though it's very obvious and very easy to look up that he is Stephen King's son. So there you go. I don't know how well that worked out. But in terms of reviews, it has a freaking 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes. When movies have 100% Rotten Tomatoes, I only give this out because Rotten Tomatoes seems to be like a good generic score for like the public. I don't really believe in Rotten Tomato scores because they don't align with my views. They like give like a 2% to like amazing movies and vice versa. So I only say that this has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes just so you guys can get a gist of it, but I'm not really sure how accurate that is considering the movie's not actually out yet. And also there's no audience score, and that's the real review score percentage that we look for, because these people on Rotten Tomatoes, sometimes they just really don't know what they're doing. It's all about the audience, you know, how is the public feeling about it? But the movie has yet to come out, so hopefully we will be able to get a more accurate depiction, and I'll probably do an update if I do go and see it on what I think about it, because This is, I don't know if it'll be kind of in the same realm, in the same type of era or feeling, I guess, as Stephen King's movies, because he is his son. Joe Hill is the son of Stephen King. Who knows? But it seems that the reviews are generally positive, but we shall see again because the audience score has yet to come. So that is set to come out June 24th. Next, we have a very anticipated release of Nope, coming out July 22nd, and this is the newest release by director Jordan Peele, who is most famous from Get Out and Us. I loved those two movies very, very much, so I'm very interested to see what Nope is about. This is, of course, starring Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out and Keke Palmer from True Jackson VP. Oh my god, I love Keke Palmer, okay? She's kind of an icon. When I had Twitter, I followed her on Twitter, and it was a ride. It really was. She's a mood. So the premise for this is it's taken place on a California ranch, and random objects start falling from the sky and result in the death of OJ and Emerald Haywood's father. The ranch-owning siblings attempt to capture video evidence of an unidentified flying object with the help of tech salesman Angel Torres and documentarian Antlers Holst. Okay, so this one, we haven't had any reviews yet, but for movies that have yet to come out or are kind of further away, I will look at Letterboxd reviews of see what people are kind of commenting, if they're excited or not. People seem to be generally pretty pumped for this one, considering that Get Out and Us were just really big hits from Jordan Peele, and in the horror genre, Jordan Peele has a really creative and unique way of approaching it, so they are curious about this one, as am I. The trailer seemed pretty freaky, but again, okay, so alien vibe is what I'm getting, but if we know Jordan Peele, there's gonna be some weird creatures that we're not expecting. But a little fun fact for this one, Jesse Plemons was offered the lead role for this, but he had to turn it down due to scheduling conflicts because of his movie Killers of the Flower Moon was shooting at the same time. That would have been really interesting if Jesse Plemons was the lead person for this, but I like Daniel Kaluuya and, of course, Keke Palmer. So I am pumped for this. All right, next is one I'm not really sure about. I didn't even know about this until I was doing my research for this video, but it is a movie called They/Them, coming out on August 5th as a Peacock exclusive. This is directed by John Logan in his directorial debut. Now, the only reason why I added this is because I feel like I've heard no talk about this one, and I feel like it's kind of a weird premise. I'm not too sure. So it is described as a horror movie, but it is also described as an LGBTQIA+ empowerment tale set at a gay conversion camp. So that, and it's also a horror movie. I really wanted to mention this because one, it's Pride Month, but two, like an empowerment tale that's also a horror movie. I just don't know how the two are gonna mix. And this movie is this director's debut. So I have nothing else to base this off. So I'm a little worried or concerned how this is going to be portrayed. And this is also starring Kevin Bacon. All right, Kevin Bacon is in this one. He is like the lead person. This is also gonna be another Blumhouse production. No one has really reviewed this one when I was looking on Letterboxd, but they all seem to really like the title because it's like they and slash, like the act of slashing them, like they really slashed them, like slashed is the verb, they slashed them. Am I making sense or am I just making noise to you guys right now? I don't know, but Kevin Bacon, Peacock exclusive too. That kind of gives you a little bit of a premise. I don't know if I'll get Peacock again in order to watch this, but we shall see. Maybe when I get Peacock again to watch Chucky season 2, then I'll watch and review this, but I don't know if I'm going to be getting it soon anytime. So there we go, They/Them. I don't know how to feel about that one. Okay, next is one I'm pretty pumped for, and that is Salem'slot, coming out September 9th, and this is directed by Gary Doberman. Doberman. He is the writer for Annabelle and The Nun, and he also co-wrote 2017's It and solely wrote 2019's It Chapter 2. If you watch like any of my book videos, in my last book video, horror TBR, I have Salem's Lot because I heard that that is like one of the best Stephen King books to read, specifically for people who've never read Stephen King. So I was pretty excited to see that they're actually making it a movie adaptation because I know that there is an older one. I don't know if I'll watch that one because the images seem pretty scary actually. I don't know if that's me being a weenie, but the images seemed pretty spooky. But yes, this is based off of Stephen King's novel of the same name. This is about writer Ben Mears, who returns to his childhood home of salem'slot in search for inspiration, only to discover his hometown is being preyed upon by a vampire. Now, this is produced by New Line Cinema and Warner Bros. So I'm expecting amazing props, prosthetics. I just really hope they don't try to do any like weird CGI stuff, because with these big production companies that they just want to do only CGI everything, and I'm kind of hoping that they're gonna not rely on that heavily and actually do real effects for everything, since this is a vampire movie. So I was looking at the reviews for this one, and it seemed that many people were kind of worried that the movie wouldn't be set in the 1970s like it is in the book, but it seems to be that it is going to be taking place in that time frame. Someone on Letterboxd says that they filmed the movie where they live and they saw a little bit of production and it looked like they were going for a 70s vibe. Who knows? But if that is it, I'm pumped. I really like it. 2017's It was like my favorite movie of all time when it first came out, and it is one of my favorite movies now of all time. I love it. Also, they're putting It 2017 on Netflix now, which I'm so happy about because I just want to watch it all the time. You know what I mean? But I have high hopes with that, but also Annabelle and The Nun were not that good. All right, Conjuring universe is just messy. Annabelle was not too good. I don't know if I've ever seen The Nun, but I did see Annabelle, and I think I saw the second Annabelle 2 creation or whatever. Not very good. So I'm a little worried about that. You know, it's like, it's a balance, right? It, for me, was really good. Annabelle, So I'm hoping with this, we'll land somewhere in the middle at least. That's where the bar is for me right now. But I am excited to see how this one turns out. Next, we have a movie that I've never seen anyone talk about either for upcoming movies this year, and it is called Dark Harvest. This is also coming out on September 9th, and this is directed by David Slade, the director of Twilight Eclipse. Do I need to say more? He also directed Black Mirror's Bandersnatch, which I only watched, or I guess interacted with, for a short period of time because I kept dying. I kept making all the wrong decisions, so I was like, I'm over this. This is taking too long. And also, I kept thinking that I was so far in, and I was literally just like 10 minutes in, so maybe I just need to like reevaluate that situation. But this is based on a 2006 novel of the same name, and it is kind of a really interesting premise, and I want to talk about this because I'm excited for it. It is set in 1963, and every fall in a small Midwestern town, a supernatural specter named Sawtooth Jack arises from the cornfields and approaches the town's church, where violent gangs of young boys hungrily await their chance to confront the legendary nightmare in an annual harvest rite of life and death. So I was reading this and I was looking at the book's premise too, and the book has the same exact premise. This Sawtooth Jack is also referred to as October Boy, and it seems that it is kind of like Hunger Games, but fall time. Fall Hunger Games, but you all have to defeat Sawtooth Jack or whatever, and then whoever does apparently gets to leave town, which is not possible beforehand, and they get an ideal, quote-unquote, perfect life where they get a new car, a new house, and they never have to pay bills ever again, and you get to leave this small ass town. So, and it's only boys that can participate, and they have to be a certain age too. So yeah, it literally is Hunger Games, but Halloween version. I'm really excited for this one. I haven't seen any reviews, literally anything about this one, so we shall see. This is an MGM production, so it could go either way, but with the director had worked on Twilight, Eclipse, and Bandersnatch, I sadly don't have very high hopes for this one because it just seems like it could be so much fun, but unfortunately, David Slade's past work is not giving me high hopes for Dark Harvest. All right, this one I am extremely pumped for, and if you're not pumped for this one, I'm judging you. Next, we have Don't Worry, Darling, coming out September 23rd. And this is directed by Olivia Wilde, who is also starring in it. Her previous movies that she's been on as a director was Booksmart, and this is produced by Warner Bros. I'm pumped for this one for a multitude of reasons. One being the cast. We have Harry Styles, Olivia Wilde, Florence Pugh, Chris Pine, Nick Kroll, and Gemma Chan. Like, what? That cast is thick, okay? I mean, this movie has such an amazing cast lineup. I'm so excited, and for me, it's like first time actually seeing Harry Styles act in something. I know that he was like in Eternals, I guess, for like 1 second, but whatever. This is gonna be our little taste of Harry Styles' acting abilities, because he's also set to star in a movie called My Policeman. I don't know when that's supposed to come out, but I'm really pumped for this one. The premise seems very interessante. It is set in 1950s, and Alice and Jack Chambers live a seemingly perfect life in small town Victory, which is created and paid for by the mysterious company Jack works for. Curiosity about the nature of her husband's work on the secret Victory project begins to consume Alice, which leads to cracks in their utopian life as Alice raises tensions within the community during her investigation. Now, everyone is hyped for this one. Like I said, I was reading all the reviews. Everyone's like, can't wait. My bisexual self cannot handle if I'm more excited for Florence Pugh or Harry Styles, which I do. I don't blame you. I really don't. Every trailer that I see for this seems very intensely super sexual. And it seems that some people have also that same opinion. So, like I said, I am pumped for this one because I didn't see Booksmart, so I'm not very familiar with Olivia Wilde in terms of a director, but I am pumped to see how this will play out because the premise seems interesting, and despite like how much heterosexuality is in the trailers, the trailer does pique my interest, so I'm really pumped for this one. September, we're gonna have some interesting movies. That leads me to my next one, which this isn't like a spooky scary movie, but I needed to include it because I feel like it'd be wrong if I didn't. But they're making a Hocus Pocus 2, if you guys didn't know. Yeah, they're making a second Hocus Pocus. Nearly what the first one came out like 97, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. 93. Oh my god. The first one came out in 93. Let me do some math. 29 years later. That's insane. So Hocus Pocus 2 is set to come out September 30th. Now this is directed by Anne Fletcher, and it's set to be a Disney Plus exclusive. Makes sense. I mean, I feel like it'd be weird if it wasn't a Disney Plus exclusive, but Hocus Pocus is kind of one of those like gems that you just shouldn't touch, especially since the original director, Kenny Ortega, did such an amazing job. Kenny Ortega is a legend, and so I'm kind of upset that he didn't come back to direct this one, but I understand considering that the first one was tied up so perfectly and just beautifully. This one, it does have the original cast coming back, all of them except for Danny, the actress who played Danny. So we have Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy Najimy, Doug Jones, Umrai Katz, and Vanessa Shaw. So this follows basically the same exact premise, but instead of Max and Allison, it's 3 young women, and they accidentally bring the Sanderson sisters to modern day Salem, and they must figure out how to stop the witches from wreaking havoc on the town. So again, this is a little different because obviously when Hocus Pocus originally came out, 93, so I can't imagine what they're gonna do and be like, oh my gosh, everyone's on segways and hoverboards and blah blah blah, and just like out the witches, which I feel like would send me into a panic attack if I was a Sanderson sisters and I was so used to like the 1600 time era and all of those inventions, and then you just come back and you see freaking people flying around and going to the moon. That would freak me out, honestly. But I don't have very high hopes for this one, and part of me doesn't want to watch it because the first one is just so near and dear to my heart, as I'm sure it is for everybody. And it seems like everyone else has that same opinion, because after 2 test screenings of the film, it showed that the ending was the weakest part. The audience hated the ending. So although they did wrap up filming like January of 2022, they had to reshoot stuff earlier this month in June 2022 because they did testing and everyone freaking hated the ending. So seems like everybody is pumped, especially since they are paying homage and bringing back the original actors and actresses. So we do have that kind of positive mark about it, but again, it's like, why do you gotta touch it? Just why? Just leave it alone. We can't leave anything alone. We really can't. Speaking of not being able to let anything live and die on its own, we have Halloween Ends coming out later this year on October 14th. Now this is directed by David Gordon Green, who directed previous Halloween movies, and this is going to star the original Jamie Lee Curtis and James Jude Courtney. This is produced by Universal, and there's not much to say about this one. I mean, the premise seems to be the same, but also supposed to be different in some way, shape, or form. Laurie and Michael face off in an epic showdown. An epic final showdown, apparently, is how it's described. And it is Halloween Ends. So I was reading the Letterboxd reviews and everyone was like, can we actually let this end? Like, can this die? Finally. They just desperately want this franchise to end, which is kind of ironic because they brought Halloween back because it's such a popular franchise, but now everybody's like, just die already. Everyone's basically on Michael's side at this point because Laurie has yet to actually kill him. Like, this dude is just indestructible, immortal, I guess. So people are just pissed off at Laurie at this point, which rightfully so. I get it. I've only seen the first Halloween, and when they started making more and more Halloweens, like pooping them out every year, I was like, I'm done. I don't know if I can go on with this franchise. Okay, so that concludes all of the horror type of movies that we know, or that I'm at least most excited for coming out with an initial set. This is the release date. Now, time for the ones that don't have a release date, that have yet to be determined, but have still trailers or have some sort of promotion alluding for it to be 2022. So first we have Jeepers Creepers Reborn. So this is directed by Timo Vuransola. Okay. Now this is produced by Screen Media Films, and one, we're just really glad that it is a different director because fuck the original director of Jeepers Creepers. He can burn for all I care. But this follows young couple Chase and Lane, who are attending a horror hound festival in Louisiana and begin to experience unplanned premonitions and disturbing visions associated with the town's past and the Creeper. Now, despite it being the 4th film in the Jeepers Creepers franchise, this is set to be a standalone and basically a reboot of Jeepers Creepers. So this is supposed to just disregard the first 3 movies completely, which we are fine with. All right, Jeepers Creepers is freaky AF, and you know what, considering the history with it, I'm totally fine with just forgetting about those first 3 movies. So we shall see how this Reborn is supposed to be. There is a trailer for it. It came out like 2021, but there is no official date for this theatrical, or I guess not theatrical release. Who knows? It can be anywhere at this point. Okay, next we have a movie that's not really like, it's a horror comedy, but I am interested in it, and it is called The Munsters, and this is directed by Rob Zombie. Now, people were kind of surprised about this. At least I was kind of surprised about this. One, because The Munsters is a really old black and white TV show, and Rob Zombie is revamping it basically, and it gives off basically Addams Family vibes, but people were kind of like, okay, concerned or confused about it because Rob Zombie is kind of like a creepy, weird guy and always has like weird stuff in his movies, but he straight up was like, no, this is rated PG. It's a family-friendly movie. So we shall see how that goes, but like I said, it's based on the 1960s television series of the same name, produced by Universal, and the trailer just came out for it, or like a teaser trailer came out for it like 2 or 3 days ago from when I'm filming this, but it just came out, so if you want to go and check that out, go ahead, do so. But like I said, it just seems like an Addams Family fun Halloween vibe movie. I'm excited for an actual date coming out for that one. Okay, next we have Terrifier 2. They are in fact making a second Terrifier. Now I've never seen the original Terrifier, but don't worry, it's on my list. And this one is going to be directed by Damien Leone, I think is how you pronounce Leone. So this is going to be starring people from the original Terrifier, David Howard Thornton and Samantha Scafidi. And the story is set a year after the original on Halloween night as Art returns to terrorize siblings Sienna and Jonathan. Again, I guess it's good that they are bringing the original cast from this, or the original guy who played Art the Clown. But like I said, I don't really have much to say about this, but I am just interested because it's been a while since they put out the first one. The first Terrifier came out in 2016. So quite some time has passed, but not too much to where it's ridiculous that they're making another one. I'm interested to see how that one is. I don't know how the public feels about the first Terrifier. I think it's generally pretty good, but it's not the most hyped up thing in the world, you know? Next, we have Evil Dead Rise. So they are making another Evil Dead, and this is going to be directed by Lee Cronin, and it is going to be produced by Warner Bros. And New Line Cinema. Now, this one I don't really know how to feel about because it is an HBO Max exclusive, so it's just one of those weird horror movies where like, oh, everyone's so pumped, but it's only for a certain streaming service, so that's kind of weird for me. But the premise for this one is that Beth pays her sister a visit in LA. Soon the two discover a mysterious book kept in her sister's apartment, giving rise to flesh-possessing demons and leaving them in a battle for survival. Now, Evil Dead remake in 2013 literally scared me shitless. I was terrified, but again, I was literally 13 like when it came out, so you can't blame me. But that one really freaked me out. I don't know if I'll catch this one, but I thought I'd throw it in here because Evil Dead is a very popular movie, and maybe I'll watch it if I'm brave enough, but I don't really see that happening TBH, because Evil Dead freaked me out so bad. Okay, next we have one that I have been trying to research so much. Every day I keep looking this up in hopes that there's an update for it, but there aren't really. It's Hellraiser. Don't know when this is supposed to be coming out, but it's directed by David Bruckner. This is going to be produced by Spyglass, and this is going to be a Hulu exclusive, which irritates me. I mean, I have Hulu, so I don't really care, but I just wish we could just enjoy it. Like, and there's something different about enjoying a movie for the first time in the movie theater, you know? You got like the freaking loudspeakers, it's enlarged like a billion times. I would love to experience that because I didn't get to do that for the original Hellraiser. So, I don't know. You can't always get what you want, I guess. But people seem to be pumped about this one because it's going to be starring Jamie Clayton, who is a trans actress, and Brandon Flynn. And despite it being the 11th freaking movie in this franchise, it is also going to be set as a standalone and basically a reboot of Clive Barker's Hellraiser from 1987. So basically, again, this is the same exact premise. A young woman faces sadistic supernatural forces behind an enigmatic puzzle box responsible for her brother's disappearance. So yeah, I don't know if anyone can top Claire Higgins' performance in the original as Julia, but they can freaking try. She's just amazing. And again, I really hope they're actually going to use all the ooey gooiness that they can, because one, that's very important to me, and two, I just hate that nowadays everyone relies on CGI, and that's what makes these 80s, 90s, 70s movies so good, because they didn't rely on CGI and they had to actually create prosthetics and, delve more into like weird body horror type of thing, which Hellraiser is really good about. So yeah, the effects for Hellraiser 1987 were amazing. Hellraiser became one of my all-time favorite horror movies of all time when I watched it, which again, if you haven't seen my reaction to it, go ahead and do so. But yeah. Okay, so lastly is kind of another just like horror comedy type of thing. It's not really like a movie, but I thought I would include it anyways because it is in the Halloween genre, I guess. But it is the Netflix series Wednesday, and a trailer just came out for it, or at least a teaser trailer just came out for it a couple days ago, or about a week or two ago from the time I'm filming this. And this is produced by MGM, and this is directed by Tim Burton. Okay, so we have high expectations for this. It is starring Jenna Ortega as Wednesday Addams, and we don't really have much info about this one, but it is a Netflix series. Okay, so it says the show will follow the Addams' only daughter as she attends the boarding school Nevermore Academy, where she juggles her newfound psychic powers and a supernatural murder mystery connected to her own family. Everyone seems to be really liking the casting for this one because they really think Jenna Ortega is the perfect person to play Wednesday Addams, but we shall see. I really like Jenna Ortega. It says also that Christina Ricci is supposed to be in this one too. I'm not too sure how they're gonna incorporate that, considering, you know, Jenna Ortega is supposed to be Wednesday as well. I guess we shall see. So that's something to look forward to as well. I have never seen the Addams Family at all, but I just might have to so I can watch this. We got a lot of things to watch in order to catch up with society. With that said and done, those are the movies or upcoming releases for 2022 in the horror genre that I am most excited for. Let me know if I left anything out or what you are most excited for down below. If you have any info about any of the movies that I talked about, please leave that info in the description because we need to know. We need all the info that we can freaking get so we can get more pumped. With that said and done, I want to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons and especially to Matt O'Keefe and AJ, who are spook suppliers. Thank you so much, guys, and go ahead and check out my Patreon if you haven't already. Yeah. Thank you for coming along with me on this journey. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all of that jazz. And as always, thanks for watching.